What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Bimmer barn. Today we're going to be looking at my 335i E90, trying to figure out why it's smoking so much. We're going to do a little bit of preventative maintenance by changing the valve cover gasket and also the spark plugs, and try to get down to the bottom of why this car is just smoking so much at idle, under load, and all that, and maybe take this car for a test drive so we can see if it goes into boost once we've kind of confirmed what is going on with the car mechanically. So let's go ahead and take a look under the hood and we'll get started on today's work. Now we're going to go ahead and change the valve cover gasket because here in the inside of the cylinder banks you can see that brown oil at the bottom, and it's basically on cylinders 1 through 4. On 5 and 6 it's a little bit more dry, but I'm just curious as to why that oil is there and why it hasn't burned off yet. Now something that is reassuring is that this is an aftermarket valve cover. You can see that it's got the BMW logo kind of scribed off of it here, and also we're missing the clips here for the beauty cover, and basically this doesn't come with a new valve cover. You'd have to transfer it over. So this one doesn't have it, which means that this is an aftermarket valve cover. So maybe it did have a cracked valve cover before and the previous owner fixed that, which is great. But now we need to get to the bottom of where this oil is coming from, change the spark plugs so that we can get the car running a little bit better. And then I think we're going to take the intercooler off and see if there's oil in there, because that would tell us that the turbos are leaking oil. Versus if we didn't have any oil there, we would probably think that there was like an internal engine issue that was causing that smoke from the tailpipe. So let's go ahead and get to work. If you guys want to see a full valve cover DIY, I'll put a link to that up here. I have a very brief summary with all the tools and torque specs that you'll need. But for now, let's go ahead and change this thing out and get to work. So taking a look at what's underneath, you'll see that the gasket, it stayed on the block. That's completely normal. They usually fall out of the valve cover. Over here, we'll see that there's not one, but there's 2 screws that were over torqued. Actually, all of them were over torqued. They were very tight, tighter than I would prefer, but 2 of them snapped off into the head here. We're gonna maybe try to extract those. I think I have a screw extractor set that might work. And besides that, everything looks pretty clean. It is odd that those 2 screws did not have any torque on them, obviously because they're broken. And over here is where we have the oil, and over there is dry. And you can see just how much oil is down there. So we're gonna try to soak up some of that with some paper towels, and then we'll pull out these spark plug tubes, and then we'll change the spark plugs. And some of the oil is gonna fall into the cylinders. That kind of can't be avoided, but we're going to try to get as little in there as possible. And then when we first start up the car, we're going to expect a little bit of smoke. Well, a lot of smoke, since we know that this car probably has bad turbos. But anyways, let's go ahead and take care of that, and let me show you the valve cover. The valve cover looks really good. I inspected as much of it as possible for any cracks, and I don't see anything. So I'm just led to believe that it was bad gasket seal that caused the leak. And over here, you'll see the 2 screws that we need to probably replace. So let's see if we can do that now. Well, I've been drilling away for about 10 minutes here, and that's not really encouraging to see that it hasn't even made much of a dent in that. It has started to drill into it, but probably like 1 millimeter so far. And we have 2 of them to do. Now, I don't think that it was leaking from there before, so I might just scrap this idea for now, at least, because I feel like in order to get that properly solved, we would want to take it to a machine shop, or at the very least, we would want to take off the head ourselves with the camshafts and the lifters and such, and really safely put a drill to this thing and get those bolts out, because unfortunately those are steel bolts. This is an aluminum head, and for that reason they're over torqued in there. They're pretty seized in. So I'm not gonna try to get those bolts out for now. We will just replace the valve cover and also service these spark plugs. All right, we've got the old plugs out, and I had to wipe these down because they were just, full of oil. You can see here, though, that there is some aging wear to it. You can see like the orange corrosion coming out of the base and onto the white filament of the spark plug. So we got fresh ones here. Comment down below if you think it's going to run better now since we replaced these, and we'll find out in a second. Now, when I'm installing the gasket for the valve cover, I do have a little trick. I like to use a little bit of super glue and just a dab every couple of inches on the gasket will hold it to the valve cover itself, and then you won't have it coming off when you go to put this thing on, and it's very tricky to get these valve covers on. So just to have that little extra help, it's great. It makes a big difference. And now as this dries, we'll just wait a couple minutes and then we'll be able to throw it on the car. All right, now we've got our valve cover on, and remember that these bolts are basically like hand tight. Once they stop at the bottom of their rotation, you don't need to tighten them any further. And with a little bit of editing magic, I should be able to just like that, everything is reassembled. I love this editing movie magic stuff. It saves me so much time. But anyways, guys, now we're gonna go ahead and put this car on the quick jacks and go ahead and check out this intercooler. Should be pretty quick to drop it down. We'll be able to inspect and see if that damage has created a boost leak, as well as see if oil is collecting in there from the turbos having failed. So here under the car, I am surprised to find that there is no clip on this side of the intercooler. Literally nothing holding that charge pipe into the intercooler when the car goes in a boost. On this side, you can see the clip. It's got a little dent in it so you can pull it out, but that's supposed to hold the charge pipe in, and it's missing from one side. So definitely gonna have to fix that, but for now, let's go ahead and pull this intercooler out. There's just a couple of screws. I think they're like a T25 or T30, one on each side, and then this thing should drop down. All right, we got the intercooler out, and let's take a look inside of the channels here. There's a little bit of oil in there. Maybe if I tilt this over, we should see if there's more that comes to the bottom here. But usually when you have like a failed turbo, the oil that you're burning, it has to come through the turbo and go through the intercooler. And since the intercooler is the lowest spot, it would collect it. But I don't see a lot of oil in here. Makes me kind of worried that maybe these turbos aren't the problem with the oiling. I mean, the previous owner did say that they were replaced on the car, so I'm curious as to if this could be something else, some other issue with the motor that's causing the excessive smoking. For now, though, let's go ahead and reinstall this intercooler, and then we'll take it for a drive and see how it runs now. So it doesn't seem like the car is smoking as bad as it was before. It was definitely like plumes and plumes of smoke, although it hasn't exactly warmed up yet. So let's go ahead and let it warm up a little bit, take it for a drive, and get some impressions now that we've kind of serviced the engine just a little bit. And if that smoking doesn't come back, I'm not sure what that means it was. Maybe, was it the spark plugs making it run weird? I don't know. Let's find out. All right, first drive. I'm not expecting it to go into boost, but I'm wondering if it's gonna smoke like it was before. So let's find out. You know what? It sounds like it's going in a boost. It definitely isn't going to build much, considering that we don't have a full, a fully sealed system. Sounds like it wants to go into boost though. It's still making this little vibration. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but all sorts of front wheel noises, and just doesn't feel right up there. Yeah, we definitely have a boost leak, so just getting into a couple pounds of boost there in third gear, we know it's got a boost leak. So probably just need to fix that intercooler, maybe replace it entirely. And I don't see any smoke outside of the car, so I wonder if that just cleared out, if there was just oil in the cylinders from the injectors being dead for a while. So what a shocking turn of events. I was expecting to maybe have to pull the head on this thing, replace the valve seals, and do that entire job. But after starting the car up now, it doesn't smoke anymore. So I wonder what was exactly the problem before. Maybe a combination of things, probably, but I'm not gonna complain, that's for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching me replace the valve cover and spark plugs on the car and getting this thing running better step by step. Stay tuned, because eventually we're going to be putting this into the 335i wagon, and I can't wait to show you guys that entire process. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, leave a like down below, and comment about your favorite part about this video. Hope everyone has an awesome day, and we'll see you next time.